So in third year of our college that we went to, Sheridan College, I pitched this as part of our third year documentary project. Everybody had to do a documentary project, and I had the honor of pitching this. Um, and I was very nervous if it was going to get accepted. And it was my first time ever wanting to make a documentary and gather together a team. So I reached out to Amanda Wright and Gabriel, who was with us today, and asked, okay, if I make this, would you want to direct this? And again, then there's that waiting period of, okay, is this going to get picked? Is this going to get selected? Thankfully, we are here today. It did get selected. Um, and then there was going through the process, again, totally new to it, never done it. What's a pre-interview? How does that work? Going through the process of setting that up, forming a relationship with the subject, and then I'll pass it to Gabriel to really talk about how we came to make this film visually, because I don't have as much as a hand in that, but so I'll throw that to Gabe.
Yeah, well, it was a crazy month. Like we all were very new to documentary and we all threw these ideas out there and assembled our crews for it. And Scott had this idea for this restaurant 541 out of Hamilton, and he assembled like me and Amanda because he knew we kind of had these passions for food as well. And like I think a big part was so exciting about making this documentary was kind of learning how to do documentary. And I think like with our combined passions and this general interest for it, we had like no idea what we could do with documentary. But once we kind of dived into this restaurant and this community and trying to pull a story out of it, it was pretty fascinating. It's a restaurant based out of Hamilton, and we always wanted to make sure that their message in their community was the forefront of this whole piece. We didn't want to make a commercial. We didn't want to just make something that would just sit on their website. We wanted to create a grander story of the power of food and the power of community.
I would say I wanted to do my part for the city and get the story out there. I feel like that, yeah, that's I just thought it was so important that people were aware that this was a place and people were doing something like this. And I thought it was really important. And again, at the time, I had no idea if I would ever be making another documentary again. Who knows, right? Um, so if I could make a documentary, this is the kind of story that I really wanted to get out there. And then also, I wanted to also just become arguably a more knowledged person of what was going on in my community and just a better person, a better person for making for being a part of a story like this, pardon me. And just hopefully take a team on this journey of then on the other end going, wow, I was really happy I made that. I was really happy I was a part of that.
I think a big thing was that 541 already had a lot of coverage or surrounding it,
Yes.
but more in like the business sense and the commercial sense, but not in like the empathy and the community sense. So once she saw like the heart was really behind it all, like showing up like that was exciting for her because that's why she shows up to work every day.
Yeah.
That was my big goal was we had these constraints with 6 minutes or whatever it was.
Mhm.
And 6 minutes is not a long time for a documentary, right? And I think what ends up happening what ended up having for a lot of people's documentaries was they ended up just making a commercial for their subject matter or their person or whatever topic they went to go explore. Because everyone, it was their first time and they were just kind of shooting and it's hard to pull a story together in 6 minutes. So you end up just making like an advertisement for something. And I come from more like freelance and commercial and doing and providing videos for clients in that sense. So I did everything in my power not to do that because
Mhm.
I didn't want to do something, create something for them at least that they already made or already had a commercial like about 541. Our goal was to capture as much as the essence as to why Leah and why everyone else shows up every day to put those buttons in the jar.
I learned so many things making this documentary. Like I just I learned that documentaries take time. Like, you know what I mean? I learned they really take time, and you can't really supercharge and rush something that isn't meant to be rushed, you know, and you are kind of at the whims of the subject.
Mhm.
And you have to change on the day. It's exciting. I learned that documentaries can be exciting, right? I learned that they can have twists, they can have turns, you can go in with one idea and bloop, and then just like avert, be like, oh, because of this, and okay, then this, and oh, it will still get us to the end point, but we're just going to take a curve to get there. I think that's exciting. I learned again so many things. Like again, my background is not camera, but even watching this again, being there on the day, thinking, okay, this moment and this moment are going to be good to cut with, even on the fly, learning editing. I wasn't holding the camera, but like even on the day, I could see, okay, that might be nice. We have the time. Let's try to get it, and then that might be nice. Yeah, I just think there's a limitless amount of things you can learn when you make a documentary that I feel like when you come away from it, you are so excited to make the next one, which I think is so invigorating. It's so exciting, right?
I think for me, like I went into it with a passion for food, very loose, like whatever that may have looked like, maybe a very selfish passion for food. Like I love like the visual aspect of food or like how you can explore that. But I think walking away was just like how selfless the people were in this community with food and what it was doing for that community was huge. Um, the kind of power of food that everyone kind of work towards in that restaurant and everyone coming in that door, the effects of it. One of the biggest scenes was like, was always challenging, was really challenging when we were filming it was when the doors opened first thing at like 9 in the morning. And that was like as soon as like cameras were up. So we were going to document it. And I don't think we'd ever really experienced what that looked like at the restaurant before. We knew that people came in for the button system to hopefully get some subsidized food. And we get cameras up 9 a.m., doors open, and close to like 20 to 30 people just like flood in there.
Mm.
And immediately the vibe changes in that whole place for all of us because we quickly realize how important that this food is to these people, right? They can't afford a meal. They can't even get a good quality meal if they can afford one. So this is their moment to set their day up for success. This is their moment for um, a break in the brutality that they're living in their life right now. And it was a very like fragile moment. And I think we all quickly realized like this is a place of comfortability. This is a place of healing for some people. And this is exactly what this documentary was going to be about. It's that the service that this restaurant, this community provides for one another. That was huge for I think all of us as soon as that first day of filming came up, and that changed the direction of the documentary for sure.